With the big telephone company, for caller ID, call blocking, call forwarding, call waiting, and three-way calling, you can end up paying almost $50 a month for all that. But with Rev Voice, you get all those features for free.
Opposition leader Dr. Minnis argues why illegal migrants should have free health care. The National Security Minister hits back at critics of NHI. This as the DNA hits out at the minister for calling the government progressive. Plus, one student threatened with suspension over her natural hairstyle. We've got those stories and a lot more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and MB12 starts right now. Tonight, in the wake of the National Insurance Board's deputy director revealing that undocumented residents are not eligible for the new NIB Smart Card, which paves the way for national health insurance registration, opposition leader Dr. Minnis said today that everyone, even those who are undocumented or here illegally, should have access to free health care.
One of the problems we face with illegal residents, there's always the question, should you give them health care or not? As a healthcare worker and as a Bahamian, it's essential to deliver health care to even those who are here illegally, because the problem you face, if they contract a communicable disease, then that can have devastating effect on your society. So it's our job to look at everybody. And it's essential to deal with that also. I know Bahamians, lots of Bahamians feel differently, but it's essential to deal with that because it can have devastating effect on our healthcare system.
According to NIB Senior Deputy Director Cecile Bethel, undocumented residents will not be registered under the new system and will be denied the new blue cards. She said this ensures that illegal migrants don't abuse a system designed for Bahamian citizens and legal residents. When asked about her abuse concerns, Minnis said although you could think of it like that, if illegal migrants have a communicable disease and cannot access health care, the effects of that could prove devastating, even on the nation's #1 industry.
One can think of it like that, but you must take into consideration if an illegal comes here with tuberculosis, for example, you do not treat them. That's a communicable disease. Then you subsequently have tuberculosis penetrating your entire society. The devastating effect that would have on your tourist industry, you have to weigh the pros and cons. Which is best? We are a tourist industry. Our economy depends on that. And once the word goes out through the WHO and the Americans and others, it would have devastating effect on our economy. So it's essential to deal with them.
When asked if he thought everyone should be eligible for NHI, undocumented residents and illegal migrants alike, Minnis suggested it doesn't matter as everyone is already eligible for free health care.
All they're doing is issuing a card. Nothing has changed. The Bahamian populace must understand that nothing has changed. You're receiving a card now, but you still walk into the healthcare facility, be it the clinic, the hospital, etc., and you receive your health care. Be you legal or illegal, it's essential to receive the health care. And that message must go out. That card does not change anything.
When asked if he thought it is hypocritical of government to refuse undocumented residents access to registering for the new card, given NHI's mandate to provide health care access to all legal residents, Minnis said he believes the Christie administration is hypocritical with NHI on the whole, as free health care is already available.
I think the Christie administration is being hypocritical to the Bahamian populace, in that they must explain to the Bahamian populace that healthcare was always here, right? And the whole process of NHI, that's more about paying for the delivery of healthcare. That's what it's all about. And I think if they want to be honest to the Bahamian populace, they should thank and congratulate the Free National Movement for what we have done already with an improvement of the healthcare system. So,
National Security Minister Dr. Bernard Nottage says many of the critics of the government's national health insurance scheme are more interested in their own condition than in the welfare of all Bahamians. And as questions linger, Nottage said he doesn't think any right-thinking Bahamian would object to the plan. Kyle Joaquin reports.
The criticisms are expected. That is that's the meat of politics. People who are the government seek to do things to better the conditions of people in the country, and people who are in the opposition seek to convince the public that the government is not doing a good job.
Nottage says universal health coverage is a good thing, and that's what the government is trying to bring to the Bahamas through NHI. However, he said it appears as though the opposition is only using it to gain political mileage.
Registration for NHI began on January 18th, according to the government. The scheme is being rolled out in 5 phases, beginning with access to primary health. Registration for NHI began on January 18th, according to the government. The scheme is being rolled out in 5 phases, beginning with access to primary health care services in April. Several stakeholders have been critical of the lack of information on NHI, including the Bahamas Insurance Association and the Medical Association of the Bahamas. Their sentiments have been supported by members of the opposition.
NHI are focusing not on the health and welfare of the Bahamian people, but are focusing on their own condition.
Nottage, who is a noted gynecologist, said he knows the field of medicine pretty well, as it's how he made his living.
I personally have been a supporter of national health insurance and universal health care from the time I graduated as a physician. And when I came back here to work in the 70s and became president of the Medical Association of the Bahamas, the Medical Association of the Bahamas, even before the government of the day committed itself to universal health care. That was a recommendation by the medical profession in the Bahamas. And I've been on this journey for 30 years.
He added every progressive country is looking to provide national health coverage for its citizens. Earlier this week, Nottage said based on the policies being carried out by the Christie administration, this is the most progressive government in the nation's history. But as for NHI and other policies, Nottage said the opposition appears to just be playing politics.
Where the opposition is concerned, they seek to look at whatever they think the public regards as negative about the policies that we are following. And we don't agree. We are seeking, notwithstanding the fact that there are many persons who think that the policies are negative, we are assured that in due course the policies will receive the support of the average member of the general public, because they will see how they are affected positively by them.
According to Nottage, Bahamians should hear more on the details of NHI in the coming weeks. Reporting for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
After the Minister of National Security stated earlier this week that the Christie administration has been the most progressive government the Bahamas has ever seen, Democratic National Alliance leader Branville McCartney responded to that claim today, saying that's impossible. Simone Davis reports.
It's very concerning when we see the Minister of National Security speaks to the fact that this administration is the most progressive administration in the history of the Bahamas. Now, I know the name is the Progressive Liberal Party, and if he is referring strictly to the name, he can say that. But when it comes down to reality and how we're living in this country, he is far, far, far removed from the truth.
Earlier this week, the police commissioner revealed that the crime rate went down 5% last year since 2014. McCartney asserted that despite the 5% decrease, crime is still too prevalent in the country, and this is something that the Christie administration promised to control and failed. He also noted that the Bahamas has been regressing instead of progressing in almost every aspect since the Progressive Liberal.
I find it amazing that we have the most progressive political party in this country, but yet there's lack of transparency and accountability almost in every sector. Every sector. we continue to find it amazing that, as Chris mentioned, doing business in this country has not progressed, it has regressed. The way of life or quality of life in the country for Bahamians has deteriorated. It has not progressed.
He said Nottage's statement only left him concerned as to how could members of the government be so delusional and not see their mistakes as leaders of the country.
I was amazed and very concerned that I believe, acting Prime Minister, Minister of National Security, made such a comment. And it causes me even more concern that he holds such a position to be so delusional to say that the PLP is the most progressive party in this country's history.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Simone Davis.
A social media wildfire broke out this week over a natural hair controversy at C.R. Walker Senior High School. Many were concerned about students not being able to freely wear their hair at school. Our Giorgio Bain has the story.
A group of students were alleged to be suspended from the C.R. Walker High School due to a hairstyle controversy, but according to school board members, that is not so.
The natural hair, what has been happening is that they simply wear a band around the hair and they leave the middle of the hair open up, and it is very untidy, ungroomed, unkempt, and it looks like it would not have been combed for days. And that is what we're trying to curb.
Turquesa Delaveau, mother of the child Tasia Delaveau, was near tears when describing the ordeal that she says her daughter has been going through. She also took to Facebook to vent her frustrations, but she believes that may have only made it worse.
Wrote on my wall, I have a question. Why would a high school principal tell my daughter that she cannot wear her hair like this anymore because it does not look like a schoolgirl hairstyle and it looks as if it's not combed? And then WTF. What could possibly be so wrong with this hairstyle? She is a black child with thick, natural hair. I guess they prefer that I either perm it or straighten it. You weave it is the problem, it's natural is a problem. It does not affect the brain. The post was shared all over Facebook.
However, C.R. Walker principal Nicola McKay says all that she is trying to accomplish is to get students to respect the rules of the school, but it's becoming more and more of a challenge each year.
What is getting to be bothersome for me is that it's almost as if the principal and administrators have no right these days to enforce the school rules and regulations. All of this came about as a result of me speaking to a student about the hairstyle that was inappropriate. I simply called her over, I spoke to her, and I said, my dear, your hairstyle is inappropriate, it is not groomed, it needs to be groomed.
The hairstyle referred to is a natural afro puff worn by Tasia and several other girls at the school. Delaveau says she wears the hairstyle due to a scalp issue that forces her to wash her hair several times a week. Delaveau said the school was made known of this issue during enrollment, and she wanted to discuss this with McKay during a parent-teacher conference. However, that was reportedly cut short due to elevated tempers.
So when she sat down, I said to her, Ma'am, before we even deal with the situation with your daughter's hair, I want to talk to you about the approach you took with using social media. I said, what should have occurred is if your daughter came home and you were not pleased with what I said to your daughter, it was your right to come in as a parent and discuss the matter with me. I said, but instead you went on social media and you did not give me a chance to deal with the matter. Well, she immediately jumped up and told me off. She told me I am not at liberty to tell her what to do with her daughter, and she could engage conversation on social media, do whatever it is she wished. And she really got out of control, so my vice principal and I decided to end the meeting.
I thought my daughter, the subject was my daughter. She called me in alone, her along with the vice principal. In the meeting, the first thing that she did was launch an attack on me because of the post that went to Bahama News. She discussed that entire time, it was all about me posting on Bahama News, or the post getting to Bahama News. Nothing to do with my daughter. My daughter never got into the meeting. It never got to the point. When I asked her about the school rules, if she's meeting this particular page with this particular student or with this particular statement regarding the hairdo and what isn't tolerated or whatever, she starts to just go off. She just got crazy there. And that's when the exchange of words happened and it got heated, and I got up and she's like, yes, this meeting, she slams her book closed and yes, this meeting is over.
Delevaux says she feels as though her child's clean record and prefect nomination could be in jeopardy, as she believes her daughter is already being victimized at the school.
This is the first time I ever got anything. On the same day that we had this meeting, a teacher approached her about the debate, joining the debate club. As soon as the teacher found out that she had this, she said, "Oh no, I can't. I have to take this back from you," or whatever. Not in those exact words, but she took it back. She took the information back and said, "I have to answer Ms. McKay. She's my boss." So there it was. To me, that's like victimization.
McKay says she is trying to prepare her students to excel in the job market, but Delevaux says hair will not determine her child's future success.
You're preparing them for the job market, so you're pretty much telling my black child with kinky hair that her hair isn't good enough to get a top-paying job or any job for that part. And she wants to be an accountant. She's an A student in accounts, getting ready to take her accounts BGCSE in grade 11, and she has a first-class pass in accounts and bookkeeping for Pittman. So what you're trying to tell me is if she's going to work in an accounting firm, a major accounting firm or offshore bank, that she can't get the job and she goes on the interview if her hair is natural?
Principal McKay says all she wants to do is prepare her students for today's job market. Reporting from C.R. Walker High School for NB12, I'm Georgie O'Bain.